So, this is going to be a video talking about Dishonored 2 and its rather poor PC port performance, however you want to say it, frame rate drops, poor optimization, whatever. First things first though, I live in Los Angeles, and that webcam shows absolutely nothing, but it's raining, which is like ridiculously rare. So that's cool. Anyways, moving on to Dishonored 2 and what the video is actually going to be talking about. I have a pretty good gaming rig. I mean, GTX Titan, 12 gigs of video RAM right there, video memory, whatever you want to call it, with 32 gigs of actual RAM, as well as an i7 processor. There's no reason I should not be able to run this game in 4K on ultra settings. Like, there shouldn't be any throttling or anything like that, FPS drops, whatever. You know, I have the most recent display driver from NVIDIA and everything. So this gameplay is captured from just like a little test I played through from my own. I concocted it myself. It's not like a official benchmark or anything like that, but the first game I did, I should probably be watching the video as I'm talking so I actually can, you know, sync things up. So I'm gonna do that. There's gonna be a cut, and then I'm gonna be looking at the screen instead of the camera so I can actually talk to you guys about what's happening. So I begin off just looking at the door, you know, whatever, and I'm showing you guys what video options I'm going to have. So I start off at the highest possible settings, 4K resolution, 380/40, 3840 by 2160, apply, and then I just absolutely max everything out at ultra. Now I show you what my auto, you know, thing is, and then I just have everything on. I would never actually play the game like this. This is just for, you know, shits and giggles. I'm showing it. Unfortunately, NVIDIA doesn't want to actually show your FPS, but I'm going to be rendering this at absolute maximum render settings, so any frame drops you see isn't because I rendered it badly or because of YouTube, it's because it's impossible to play at this resolution with any resemblance of, like, smooth quality at all. It's impossible. I was averaging an FPS of about 23 with dropping down to 10 at some points, and a maximum of about 35 when nothing was happening. Anyways. Obviously you can see I died. It was impossible to play. I wasn't trying to die, I was trying to actually play. So that's at 4K, so I reload from the same point, and I set my settings up so that it's still 4K resolution, but it is on auto-detect settings, so my rig auto-detected as being on high for everything. So you can see that, and I apply the settings. And then I run through the same gauntlet of enemies and people and whatnot. One thing that's interesting, I don't know if this is common, but when I was switching between resolutions, my cursor would not be able to move to like the far right-hand side of my screen or whatever. But you'll see that later. But anyways, on auto-detect settings, I was getting an average FPS of about 42. And max FPS of about 63, and minimum of, I think it was 37. So it was more playable, but it was a lot less playable than I'd prefer. So that's that. Personally, what I've been playing on, and what I've been recording on, and what I've been enjoying is this next set of tests, which is what is it, like 2.5K or something? Whatever. It's the next highest resolution on ultra settings. So yeah, once I switch over, there's a long pause because my monitor's, you know, adjusting and stuff. But yeah, you can see my cursor there was like, ooh, I hit the mic. It was like tracing where it could go. For some reason, the cursor window was smaller than the actual gameplay window, which can be fixed. I've done it before just by restarting the game, which isn't a big deal, but it's still annoying. It's one of those, you know, little annoyances, whatever. So, disregarding my piss poor gameplay, I can't actually access any of my gadgets I can't actually access any of the wheel other than the heart, sleep darts, incendiary darts, and crossbow bolts. So I'm just like, alright, I'll use the crossbow. At this point, I'd forgotten I completely upgraded my crossbow and not my gun, which is why I do a lot better when I'm using this, and yeah. So, completely disregard anything I've said about FPS. Use the thing that you've actually upgraded. That's the lesson you should take away from this. Anyways, as you can see, it's perfectly smooth. I've been playing on this with an average FPS of about, 60, 62, 65 maybe. I was using the Dust District because it's quite a large area with a lot of entities. Some hostile, some hostile based on where you are in the map. Some civs, some bloodflies, rats, plenty of that stuff. And then I just did a little gaze around so you could see how the textures looked outside of action. And then I go to my auto-detect settings on this resolution, so high on everything, which is interesting. There wasn't a difference between auto-detect for my 4K resolution and auto-detect for this resolution, 2560 by 1440, which I thought was a little bit, odd that that NVIDIA didn't automatically change my auto-detect settings to something a little bit higher, because I've been playing on Ultra, and honestly, there's no difference in FPS. I should mention, I am playing on the beta patch of this game, which is supposed to help with optimization and everything. I figure, there's no point in putting out a video about a game that's going to be patched in, a matter of minutes, where the patch is actually out and you can actually play it. All you have to do is opt into the beta. So, yeah, this is the beta. There were still, obviously, some issues that I was having. No reason I shouldn't be able to play this on 4K Ultra, but I can't. It's utterly just terrific? Terrible. Words are hard, man. Words are really hard. Yeah, so it's absolutely awful at 4K. But, the game still looks absolutely beautiful, and while a lot of the game mechanics are a lot more smooth than they were in the first game, that kind of requires, for it to appear smooth, it requires smooth FPS. So while I was getting an average FPS of a lot higher on these settings, there were certain instances where I could get a significant frame drop to about 40, which, isn't bad. It's still higher than consoles. But when you're playing at 60 and then there's a random drop to 40, it really does mess with you, and, you definitely notice it. I made a transition from PlayStation 4 over to PC over the last 2 years. I still do play on my PlayStation, but I never noticed frame rate until I started playing PC, because it's just, console, it's almost always a solid 30 FPS, which is great for console, but when I have a monster of a PC like I do, there's no, you immediately notice things when they aren't working the way they should. So, yeah, I talked over whatever visual settings I just applied, but I'm sure you saw it, it's in the video. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to leave you guys with the video playing, as you can see my piss poor combat skills as I kill Palo, and Palo's rats and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you found this helpful or something along those lines. I don't know. I'm just doing the video because I can. I have some time to kill. It's Thanksgiving weekend, I don't have a watch on. I was just doing that for dramatic effect. Anyways, I hope you guys have had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for watching. I'll leave you on my poor gameplay.
What's going on?
What happened here? Looking
Wait,
for a
look!
fight.
I think his head is...
I'll cut you into pieces. You won't...
This one's carrying coin. was that? Did you hear that?